Hey there, this is Joe Jonard. I'm with the Builder Affinity team here, bank34. Just wanted to go through a quick overview on what it looks like to fill out one of our online apps. You'd think that most of us would know how to do this, but just in case, let me go through it with you. So hang on one sec and I will switch screens here. All right, so let's go look over here. This is if you go to the website. I'm going to go ahead and disable my picture so you don't keep looking at me. Right here, you can see where I'm pointing my mouse here where it says apply now. That's what you'll want to do. Make sure you see this wonderful picture of this handsome, devilish looking man over here. Hit apply now. So we'll do that. That should bring us to the next page. And what do you want to do? If you already have an application, that means you have a user ID and password. So hopefully you will have memorized that or written it down. We won't be able to get it for you. Otherwise, we just start a new application. So there it is, and we'll hit next. And then you can see all the things that you'll eventually have to input. Obviously, you want to be as complete as possible and then have the documentation to back these things up. So let's go right into apply now, starting the app. Again, you'll just go right down here. This tells you any personal info, property info, assets, expenses, income, and then just submit. And that's the important part, is hitting the submit. Okay, let's hit next. You can see me scrolling down here. Hit that button, and then you'll put in your email address. Well, let me just put in a old one that I have, and I'll confirm it. Hopefully I have not used this one before. Don't ever email me at this one because I never check it. It's for all my spam. Now let's go with 01/01/1980 because this person's old. Again, here's your options here. Is this a purchase? You typically want to just say purchase or pre-qualify. Even if you're doing a refinance transaction, we can change all that stuff later. That's just my opinion. You will almost never choose any of these other ones. So it's one of these four up front, really, but I always just stick with pre-qualification. That's going to be the easiest thing. All right, and then are you going to be applying individually, or are you going to put someone on there? So if you are going to have more than one person on there, it's best to do. If you're married, you definitely have to do joint with spouse. Then we can pull a joint bureau. We can always separate you after the fact, but it's easier to get you on the same app initially. Now, if you're non-married individuals and you can have 2, 3, 4 of those people on there, you'll want to be doing individual apps. So each one of you will want to do your own because we'll want to pull those things. Then we can combine you later. Again, if you have questions, feel free to call. Contact information is usually right here. Here's me right there, and email. All right, so let me go back down. I'm just going to do individual so I can rip through this thing for you. And then how will you use the home you're financing? Again, we can kind of manipulate, or we can figure this stuff out after we have a conversation on the phone. But let's just say we're going to do an owner-occupied property in this instance. If you're doing a vacation, or if you're going to do a rental or investment, then you would choose the other two. How did you hear about us? You can answer that if you'd like. I guess they're trying to figure out where that is. I'm just going to say I'm a current customer. Okay, next. And again, it's pretty self-sufficient and self-explanatory. Again, we're licensed in 49 states, so you can pick any one of these. I'm just going to say, for simplicity, that I'm going to do Washington. How about that? I was thinking about Florida there for a second. But county, if you know the county, great. If you don't worry about it. Let's just say I'm going to be in Snohomish, because I can get a little bit more bang for my buck. If you know the city, great. Again, not necessary, but I'll just do the office. So I'll just type in Linwood. If you know the price, let's just say I'm looking for around $500,000. Loan amount, don't worry about that, really. Again, you can put something in there if you want, but not absolutely necessary, because these are the conversations that we'll end up having. If you know the tax is great. Typically on a refinance, most of you might know what your tax rate is, but again, I would not worry about that at all. Estimated close date, if you know it, great. If not, don't worry about it. Single family home. Now this is, I guess, a little important. If you're going to buy a duplex, we definitely want to know that. If it's a condo, that's definitely something to know. Manufactured is going to be something that we really want to know as well. Those are, those are much different style loans and products and programs. Would you like to have an escrow account? I'm going to say yes, That's for most of the products that we do. We will impound or collect your taxes and insurance on almost all loans. What do you obtain? Let's keep it simple. You can really just keep this stuff simple, you guys, because at the end of the day, we're going to ask you these questions. Just the main thing is to get in your personal data, because that stuff we can't necessarily look up. The other things we can figure out as we move along. So let's just hit next on that. Now tell us about yourself. Well, my name is Joe, and I'm going to spell it differently because I don't want to create. And I'll just say I'm Joe Janet, or I'll say Janet Jackson. How about that? Those of you old enough to know who that is. She was an R&B artist, as part of the Jackson family. Social Security number. I'm going to try to do a bogus one here, just so. I think I got to do a 5 though. 112234. Hopefully this is not someone's actual Social Security number. I'm going to say unmarried because remember I said I was single. And then you have to click this button here. You must do that so that we can pull the report. All right. Current address. Let's just use, I'll use the address here at the office. And it's Linwood, Washington, 98036. If you have a different mailing address, great. You can put that in there. Like if you're buying a second home, but you're going to have a different, mailing address or something. Ownership status, I'm going to say that I own. And your time at this address, let's just say, is 10 years. Phone number is probably pretty crucial. I'll go ahead and put the office line. Alternate phone if you want that, but cell phone is probably the best one. That's what most of us have. If you have any special instructions in here, like only call me before 6 a.m. or after midnight, you might want to do that. Only call after midnight. Okay. And again, we just kind of scroll our way down and hit the next button. Okay. Provide missing information. Oh, I forgot to put a 0 in there. Evidently, it wants a 0. Okay. Let's go through that. That's great. It took my bogus Social Security number. Awesome. Or maybe it didn't. I spoke too soon. No, we're good. Okay. What type of assets will you be using in this transaction? Let's say I'm going to sell my current home, liquid assets, or maybe sell of other real estate, whatever you want to check in here. Again, this isn't too pertinent. The main thing I would say is if you are going to buy and you're going to get a gift though, or if you have like stock options or restricted stock options or something that is not going to be, that's going to be out of the norm, you definitely want to let us know about that. So I'll keep it simple to get through here. Again, you can check all these things out. Deposit account, let's just say you bank with, Best Bank USA. And I will just put in checking, and let's just say, I don't know, normal account, you just got whatever in there. Okay. I have more deposits. That's fine. We can get all that info from you. Current home value, let's just say is, I don't know, 850,000 or whatever, whatever. 150,000. It doesn't really matter. Just put that stuff in there. We'll get the info from you. And let's just say it's a single family home. And estimated proceeds, I'll just say we're going to get 135,000 off the sale of that property. Okay. Do you have any mortgages on this home? Yes. If you know it, great. If not, leave it blank. You can always click no, because we're going to get that information off the credit report anyway. Again, taxes, if you know it, great. Say my annual taxes are $8,000. Homeowners insurance, if you know that amount too, just say we can put that in there. It's an annual number. If you have dues because you're in a condo or you have a public, you have a PUD or something, put that in there. You can put in any other assets. Again, you can just get through this and get through it so that once we get it, we'll ask you those questions to fill in those blanks. Maybe you own a bunch of rentals. You could click yes there, but I'm going to go ahead and just say no so we can get through this. Oh, provide missing info. Oh, homeowner association, no. Okay. Yep. So I guess on that one, we will need to, we've updated this a little bit. Okay. Now, expense detail. Again, this is not going to be too important because we will get this from the credit report. But again, let's just say additional info about student loans. Let's just say I have student loans and we don't know if it's going to appear on the credit report, so I'll just tell you blah, 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 blah. Select expense type. It's a loan. And the monthly payment is $500. Approximate balance, let's say it's, I don't know, 15,000. Okay, you can put that in there. Paying in full with this loan, no, because I'm doing a purchase. You can add other expenses, but again, I would leave this blank personally, unless you think you owe a personal friend or somebody that you think is going to come up on title we need to know about. Then I would put that in there. Otherwise, everything else is going to come up on the credit report. Okay, so let me just delete that expense. Yes, and I'm going to leave it blank, and I'm going to hit next. And you can see that really, if you're just going through this, it would take you probably 5 minutes. Income is going to be the main thing. If you have self-employment, regular employment, active duty, if you do not have employment, then it's going to be really tough to get a loan unless we're doing asset depletion or something else. So then we better get the asset statements. Let's just say I'm employed. You can definitely want to put in your employer's name, bank34, address 19009, 33rd Avenue West, Suite 305. Addresses are great because we got to do verifications of employment or figure out which office you're working in. Washington 98036, and position or title loan officer, employment 20 years, blah blah blah, 425307 6075. You can see this is going to be pretty basic here. Let's say I get paid $1,000 a month, and again I can choose this on here, monthly, and then whatever else you want to put in. We will get a verification for all this though. If you have a second job, definitely want to add that in there if you think it's going to help. If you get any of this stuff, boom, 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 add that in there. Do you have any rental properties? This is going to be key because we'll want to see the rental lease agreements on those. And then obviously to get credit for them, typically you got to report them on your tax return, which we will then need as well. So let's just say, oh, what does it want me to do? Oh, I have 0 again. Okay. Oh, now what? See, the beauty of it is it will tell us what it's missing. Oh, I will say no. The yes and no questions, evidently you must answer. All right, so now we should be pretty close to submitting. So now you would click on these judgments or any of this stuff in here. If you have anything, you definitely want to let us know so that we can deal with it up front. Otherwise, it's going to come up, people. I can't tell you how many times people have either just forgotten or they thought, it's not a big deal. Maybe it won't be, relevant to the transaction. Believe me, unfortunately, a lot of this stuff will be relevant, and it's best that we know up front. View us as your attorneys almost, to where you need to tell your counsel everything so that we can figure out how best to structure your deal. All right. Again, U.S. citizen. We do loans for foreign nationals, so that's not a big deal. Okay, so let's go ahead. I better probably answer these or what do we do? So I'm going to hit no, 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 no. I don't have any of that. Let's just say no. I'll say I'm a U.S. citizen to make this thing easy. And iPad property, yes, I do. Have you had ownership? Yes, because I have owned it with jointly with spouse. Even though I didn't put her on this loan, right? So let's go ahead and get through the app. And then you pretty much just, what am I? I am everything. I am Asian, I'm Filipino, I'm other. Again, you can pick whatever you want here that applies to you. And I'm a male, and that is pretty much going to do it. And I'm even part white. How about that? And that's the government monitoring thing. They've really expanded that. Anything you'd like to tell us? Yes, I love Joe Jonart because he really cares about my situation. But I also want to tell you that I own a farm, and it may or may not appear on my tax returns. See, those are the quirky things that we want to know. And then I'm going to hit the submit application. So there you go. I have just submitted a bogus application, but it's okay because I'll delete it on our side. And that's it. So there you have it, filling out an application 101. Again, I took way longer than we needed to, but again, I just wanted you to know that it is pretty simple to do. All right, so this is Joe Jonah with the Builder Affinity team signing off. Hopefully you enjoyed that quick little tutorial. All right, take care, you guys. Have a great day.